Hi guys, Gerusek here and welcome to this video. So in this video I will create an expert advisor that will trade the consolidation areas. So what is a consolidation area? So consolidation area is a price sector basically where the price goes sideways. So for example, this section right here is a consolidation. There is no clear trend, the price doesn't make higher highs or higher lows, but it stays sideways. And the idea is that you can wait for the price to basically break out of this consolidation, and then you should trade in the direction of the price breaking out. Okay, so that's what I will be doing today. When I say consolidation area, the definition is pretty simple, and also when you look at the chart, it's also very simple to spot consolidation areas or a sideways price movement with your eyes. But it's more difficult to do so with some universal rules, let's say. Yeah, since consolidation is based on price action and price action is sometimes very subjective, it's not that simple to create like one set of rules that will apply and catch and spot all consolidation areas that there are in the markets. So before I can start with the expert advisor itself, I have to define some rules. So how can I or how will I spot a consolidation? There is no one right answer, but in this video I will use the ADX indicator for this. So the ADX indicator, I use it quite often. Yeah, if you have seen some of my previous tutorials, I think you saw me using ADX, but ADX is like a trend indicator. Okay, it looks like this. It's an oscillator, and it basically consists of three lines. The main line, this is being the blue line, basically tells you how strong the current trend is. And then we have these two dotted lines. This line is called plus D line, DI line, yeah, and this one is called minus DI line. The plus D line shows you the strength of uptrend, and the minus D line shows you the strength of downtrend. So how do we interpret something like this? When the plus D line, or this lime colored line, is above the minus D line, or this pink line, it means that there is an uptrend and vice versa. The gap between these two lines basically tells us how strong the current trend is. Yeah, so when there's a huge gap between the uptrend and a downtrend, it means that there's a strong uptrend. When the gap is very, very small, for example, in this case right here, it means that there is like no trend, yeah, because the trends are the same, therefore there is no trend. And if there is no trend, what does it mean? It means that the trend goes sideways. In other words, there's a consolidation of price. So that's why I will be using the ADX indicator in this video. So the exact rule will be that these two lines are basically at the same level, and when this happens, I will find local high, local low, and I will wait for the price to break these levels. So let me just demonstrate the whole sequence of steps on this example right here. So we see that the gap between the upper line and the lower line decrease, and here they meet. Okay, so at this point they are at the same level. Okay, so what do I do right here is that I find local high, which is right here, and local low, which is yeah, which is right here basically. Or just for the sake, let's say that the local low is right here. Okay, it depends how many bars do we look at, but let's just say that this is local low, this is local high. So we have our consolidation area, and we have our local low, local high. So now the next step is that we will wait for the price to break one of these levels. So you can see that the breakout happens at this point right here. And this indicates that there is basically, how to call it, a shift of momentum, change of structure, something like this. Basically, in simple words, it means that the price goes up, it broke a significant level, therefore we should open a buy position. So right here we open buy position and then the price continues to go up, and if the price goes up, we profit from it. Yeah, so that's the whole strategy that I will code today. It shouldn't be that difficult, and I think it might be like a good project to I don't know the word for it. Yeah, it will be just like a good project. Okay, so let's not waste any more time and let's start. So let me open my MT5 IDE. Let me just close all of these files and let me go here to the navigator. Let's open the experts folder and yeah, sorry, I forgot. I will find my UU folder right here and I will create a new file that will be the expert advisor. Yeah, and let's name it Consolidation EA. Okay. Well, this consolidation EA will require some input parameters, but I think I won't create them right now in here. I think I will do everything inside the code. So let's click on next, next, and finish. So this is what we are working with. I will just increase the font size to 18. Yeah, and this should be much better. Okay, so let's start. First thing, let me just delete all of these comments since I don't need them. And we also don't need the init function. So let's just delete this as well. Okay, so let's start with the usual stuff. So what we have to do is that we have to import the trade library, so we can create a trade object that will be used to open pending positions or pending orders. Then we need to create double variables for ask and bid price. Then we also have to create inputs and handles for indicators. Okay, so let's start. So let's start with the trade library. So include trade/trade.mqh. I think it's capital T. And then we can do just C trade. Okay, sorry. Trade. So this is our trade object. Perfect. So now the second step, let's create ask and bid variables. We will use these variables to store the actual ask and bid price. Okay. So now let's also create ADX handle. Okay, so we need this handle to work with, or we have to use this handle in order to be able to work with the ADX indicator itself. And now let's create some inputs. So I will create a group called general settings, and we can create first input that will be the magic number. So magic number. I know that I don't specify the magic number in some of my tutorials. The reason why, it's not important for the tutorial itself, but if you intend to use the EA on your account, for example, then you have to include the magic number. Yeah, so that's that. So let's create second group that will be called ADX settings, and the ADX settings only will include one input, and that will be the ADX period. Okay, so the default ADX setting is 14. Why am I inputting 200? Well, I can show you. Yeah, using ADX period of 14 for EA like this is not very efficient, let's say, because yeah, there's a lot of noise. So with period of 14, we would get like the consolidation area signal so often that it would basically lose its purpose. Yeah, we would receive a lot of fake signals, and that's not something we want. So that's why I changed the ADX period to something like more long term, for example 200, and by doing so I will receive less signals, but they will be more precise. Yeah, so that's the reasoning behind this. And I think I can also do one more input under the general settings section, double volume. Okay, so we will be working only with static volume, so that's why I can create the input right here under the general settings section. Okay, so I think this is everything I need so far. Of course, we will have to deal with the take profit and stop loss later, but yeah, as I said, we will have to deal with it later, therefore I will specify the inputs later as well. So let's continue. So now the obvious next step is to assign the ADX indicator to the ADX handle. And we are doing this, or this step has to be done on init function. So ADX handle is equal to IADX for the current symbol, current period, and ADX period. So very simple. Okay, so now let's move to the onTick function and let's create the actual logic, or not logic, but the actual algorithm for the expert advisor. Okay, so the first thing is that I will get the current ask price and bid price. Okay, so let me just do this right here. Symbol bid. Okay, let me just check the webcam. Yeah, you can see. Okay, so ask and bid price, perfect. Now I think I can create my usual last bar variable and bars, which is equal to I bars. So this is well, I am creating these variables because I will need them in order to, well, I will want to execute some parts of the code only once per new candlestick. Okay, so when there's a new candlestick, I want to execute something on it. But I only want to execute it once per that candlestick. As you can see, this is onTick function. So this function executes on every tick of the candlestick. So that's why I have to create these variables that I will use now. So if last bar is not equal to bars, I will do something right here, and then I will update the last bar to bars. Okay, so this is just my if-else statement inside which I will execute the part of the code that I want to be only executed once per every new candlestick. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, so what is the thing that I want to execute only once per new candlestick? So in order to spot basically in order to spot this crossover, let's say, yeah, so this is the consolidation trigger, I have to get the indicator values, and I don't want to get the indicator values on every tick because they repaint basically. I want to get them only after the candlestick is finished. Yeah, so the reason why I don't want to work with repainting values. Okay, so let's create two arrays. So bullish ADX and bearish ADX. Okay, so now I can use the copy buffer function. So indicator handle is ADX handle, buffer number is 1, starting position is 1, and count is, well, let's do 0 and 1. And array is bullish ADX. And now I have to do the same thing for the bearish ADX as well, because now what I am doing is essentially I'm just retrieving the actual indicator values. Okay, so this is the value for the bullish line, this is the value for the bearish line. Okay, and now I can create like a boolean variable called is consolidation, that is equal to false by default, and here I can say if, or do you know what, I will get two values right here, and I will tell you why in just a second. So what I want to spot here is the crossover. Okay, the crossover means basically that the lines cross over each other, meaning they were at the same price level, they are the same. Okay, and yeah, that's why I need two values. I need to check the previous and the current one. So let's do it. So if bullish ADX at position 0 is below bearish ADX at position 0, and bullish ADX position 1 is higher than bearish ADX position 1, or I have to put this inside the brackets. So let me just create the brackets here. Now I'll just copy this thing right here. Let's do this on new line, okay? And let's just change the sign. So this is not smaller, this is larger, and here is smaller. Yeah, so if one of these events happen, it means that is consolidation is equal to true because there was a crossover of those two lines. Perfect. So now if is consolidation, so if there is a consolidation, I want to look for that local high and local low. Okay, so if you remember basically the process of our strategy, this was the first step. Okay, so this is the crossover. This is finished. Now the second step is to find local high and local low. So let's do that. Okay, so now the question is, how many candlesticks should we look at in order to find local high and local low? This is something that is also subjective, like there's no one right answer, and that's why I will create a new input section called, let's do entry settings. Let's call it entry settings, and let's create new input integer local extreme candles. Okay, so this basically means how many candlesticks should we look at in order to find the high and low. And by default we can set something like 25 candlesticks, but this can be changed. Okay, since this is an input, we can change these values and we can optimize these values. So the starting value really doesn't make, or it doesn't matter what is the initial value in here. So if is consolidation, we have to find local high, local low. So how to do this? It's pretty simple. So let's do it. So double local high will be equal to I high for the current symbol, current period, and now we have to determine, or we have to input the shift, and we can get the appropriate shift by using the I highest function. So mode high, we want to analyze local extreme candles. So in this case, 25 candles, and we want to start from the current candlestick. Okay, so this is basically our line of code that will find us the local high, and then we can use basically the same strategy or the same approach to find the local low. Okay, so local low, it's the same process, we just change these functions. So instead of using I high, I have to use I low, and here instead of using I highest, I have to use I lowest, and here instead of mode high, I have to input mode low, and the rest stays the same. Perfect. So now the second step is also finished. Okay, so we have our crossover, which is the signal basically. After we receive the signal, we find a local high, local low. So this is also finished. And now the next step is to open pending orders. Okay, so this will be buy stop. So for local high, it's a buy stop position. For local low, it's a sell stop position. So let's do it. So buy stop. So trade, buy stop. Volume is equal to volume. Price is equal to local high. Current symbol. Stop loss will be equal to local low by default. Take profit will be equal to local high plus local high minus local low. Okay, so we will be keeping the 1-to-1 risk reward ratio for now. Later I will add inputs that will change the ratio of the stop loss and take profit. And now we have to set the expired date. I think we can do good till closed, so meaning we won't set any expired date because we will want to wait for the price to break basically one of these levels. If this doesn't work well, then I will change it later. So this should be for the buy stop. And now let's check sell stop. So sell stop is the same thing, it's just local low. Okay, stop loss is at local high. This will be local low minus the local high minus local low, and the rest stays the same. So I think this is quite alright. There's one more thing I would like to add. Let me tell you what it is. So for example, let's look at this right here. So you can see that there is this first crossover that would lead to first signal, and then a few candlesticks later there is this second crossover that would lead to second signal. What I don't want to see is like the EA shouldn't open pending positions if there already are any. Okay, so if we already have some pending positions, we want to wait for those pending positions to be triggered. Yeah, so I have to add a few adjustments inside my code to make sure that we don't open multiple pending positions. And the second thing is that I have to make sure that once the price breaks one of these levels, so for example in this case, when the price breaks the current high or the local high, I want to delete the opposite pending order. Okay, so I also have to do this. So let's do it. I forgot one thing, and that is to set the magic number, or to assign the magic number to the EA itself. So I will create two functions. So the first function will return an integer, and it will tell me how many open or how many pending positions are there active. Yeah. So pending positions count. Okay. So what I will do is that I will just loop through. So for integer x is equal to 0, x is lower than orders total. So now you can see that I am not working with positions total, but with orders total. Reason why, until the pending position is not triggered, it's an order. Okay, it's not a position, it's an order. And I will increase the x by each iteration. So now I will get the ticket, so order get ticket. And I also need magic number of that order, just to make sure that I'm not deleting some other pending orders of different expert advisors, for example. So magic number is equal to order get integer order magic. So now if magic number is equal to magic number, okay, then I will increase the count variable by 1. So count plus equals 1. And then simply here I will return the count variable. Simple. So here I will add one more how is it called? One more exception, nor exception. One more thing to check, basically. I will check one more thing. So I will check the number of active pending positions or pending orders. And I don't want any open orders or pending positions. So that's why I will check this thing right here. So pending positions count has to be equal to 0. Otherwise, I won't place any more pending orders. So now the second thing I have to do is that I have to delete the pending position once the other pending position was triggered. Okay, so let's do it. So I think I can do void delete pending position. Okay, it will be very simple. So if pending positions count is equal to 1, and if this happens, it means basically that one of those two positions was triggered. I will delete the other one. So I will just copy this, paste it here, and here inside this count I will do trade order delete with the ticket. Sorry, ticket right here. Perfect. So yeah, unbalanced parentheses. Yeah, right here, I guess. Perfect. So now this is all I need to do. And I can call this right here, for example. I think it doesn't matter where I call this. I just have to make sure that I call this on every tick. Okay, so I can't call this inside this if else statement. I have to call it outside. So now let's just compile this and yeah, let's check it, I guess. Let's check it. So let me find my YouTube folder, and it's under C. So consolidation is right here. And yeah, let's use the visual mode and let's just see how it looks like. So I'll just slow this down a bit. Okay, so it obviously doesn't work because yeah, there are these crossovers and nothing happens. So we don't get any errors or something like this. So the error is right here in the consolidation part. Okay, so let's check this. So is consolidation, so this is where it doesn't work properly. So let's check these conditions. So if bullish ADX is below bearish ADX, this should be okay. Let's remove this thing right here just to check, okay, because I think like, or do you know what, I can do this. So if is consolidation, I will comment out is consolidation. So by this I will check whether this piece of code works correctly or not. And if it does work correctly, then we know where to look next. And it doesn't. Perfect. So my consolidation part doesn't work correctly. Okay, so let me try to do this. And let's just try one more time. Yeah, perfect. So now it works. Now it works correctly. Okay, so perfect. So then you can see that we got our consolidation, I guess at this point. Okay, so we found the local high, which is right here. We found the local low, which was right here. And then the price broke the local low, therefore it opened the sell position. So yeah, this is quite nice. This works as we wanted it to work. And now the take profit is right here and stop loss is right here. And we opened a new, let me just start this once again just to make sure that everything works. So okay, so we have sell stop, well, this seems pretty strange. Is this okay? Five, 7, right here. Okay, so let's just continue and see what will happen. So sell stop is right here, so now there's a sell and it doesn't get triggered. So now there was a consolidation right here. I think you can see it because there's my webcam. So there was a consolidation at this point right here. That's why we opened another pending positions. Okay, so this is not entirely correct, I guess. There's a lot of things happening, but I am not sure that I like this. Well, like, you know what? I will also do one more thing. Now I'm only checking for pending positions, but I will also check for open active positions. Okay? Positions total equals 0. So now I should only get one position at a time, and therefore everything should be very clear to see. So we have our sell position as we did before. So let's just wait and observe. So we don't open any new positions or any new pending orders because we are still working with our sell position. Okay, so come on, do something. And we lose our sell position. So when we lose the sell position, you can see that we lose it right here. And at this point, sorry, we lose it right here. I will try to zoom in because there's a crossover. So we lose it right here, and then at this point there's a crossover of those two lines. So we found our local high and local low. This was the local high, this was the local low. So the buy is okay. And we lose this one as well. Okay, so now we don't worry about the take profit and stop loss. We just want to make sure that the functionality of, or that the EA does open positions based on our strategy. And so far it seems like it does. There are definitely some things that we can improve, and we will, but like the logic is correct. The logic is based on our code, which is always a nice thing to see. So let's just speed this up a bit. Yeah. So far we lost everything we could. So far we didn't win any position, but that's okay. Like we can work on that later. Yeah. So and we are only losing. Okay. So now I will show you one very simple fix, and I will show you something very, very fun. Okay, so this was our backtest. You can see that we didn't win any position at all. So this is a perfect example to basically demonstrate how you can turn something like this into something profitable. So what would happen if I were to use buy limit and sell limit? Meaning buy limit, I would open buy positions where I now open sell positions and vice versa. So we can just like try this. It will be very, very fast and just like fun example, and then we can continue with the original idea. So just buy limit, volume is volume, local low, symbol, local low minus local high minus local low, local high good till closed 0. Okay, so this is for the buy limit, and now we can do sell limit here. So this is local high plus this thing, and this is local low. So let's just try this. Okay, it should work. It should basically turn the losing positions into winning positions. So let's just wait and see and observe. Yeah, so this is our first buy position that we profited from. This is our first sell position that we profited from, and yeah, so this is like a very quick fix to our problem. But it's not something I want to stick with, because I want to go basically with the price. Of course, if this was like a serious EA, like serious project that I would if this were an EA that I would like to use on my personal account, I would definitely make some tests with buy stop and buy limit, or with stop and limit options. Yeah, but since this is a tutorial and not like a serious EA, I think I will continue with the buy stop and sell stop positions. But yeah, like you can see that you can turn losing EA into profitable one just by changing the type of orders, but you can see it's not profitable. So let's get back basically to our initial idea. So let's just comment this out, and let's just delete these comments, and yeah. Okay, so now it froze. So let's just wait for a second and let's hope it will unfreeze. Perfect. So let's just, yeah, try the second option. Okay, so we checked the EA and it works as we wanted it to work. Okay, it does exactly what I wanted it to do. Now there's some room for improvement. So the first thing is that we are using 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio, which not might be ideal. So what we can do is that we can like change the risk-reward ratio. So let's go here. Let's create a new group. So input group, let's call this target settings. And let's do input double take profit ratio. Let's do 0.5 and double stop loss ratio. Okay, so now I just go here and I add this. So so for the buy stop, so let's just calculate the area distance. It should be local high minus local low, and I'm just calculating this because it will be easier to understand it here. So now I have to determine, or I have to set the stop loss for the buy stop. So this is going to be equal to local high minus the area distance times the stop loss ratio. Okay, and the same thing here. So this is for the sell stop, it's local low plus area distance times stop loss ratio, and for the take profit it's also it's like the same thing. Yeah, I just replace this by the area distance times take profit ratio, and I also just replace this by the area distance variable times take profit ratio. So now I can play with the ratios basically. Okay, so now when I, for example, change this to, or we can run this test with 0.5 and 1. So this is the result with 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. So let's check what will happen now. It got even worse, but that's okay, because what we can do is that we can optimize. So I guess let's optimize. I will optimize on USD yen because USD yen is prone to trending, or USD yen is in its nature trending currency symbol. Okay, so when you are working with trend following, with big price movements, USD yen is something you want to look at. I think I can optimize on the last 3 years or 2.5 years. I think that's okay for the purpose of this video. So now, the magic number stays the same, volume stays the same. ADX period, I will start by 50, I will increase by 25, and I will go to 500, for example. Local extreme candles. So this is an input that will change the outcome drastically. So let's start at 10, increase by 10, and let's do, for example, 100. Okay, and then take profit and stop loss ratio. So I don't like to set the take profit and stop losses too small, because first of all, it doesn't work well. When you optimize, you want to keep your take profits and stop losses quite high, let's say, because if you use too small take profit and stop losses in the live market, it will probably fail. Okay, so that's why I will start at 0.2. The same thing for here. I will increase by 0.1, and let's do something like 2 and 2 in here. So this seems like a pretty reasonable way to backtest. So let's start. Hopefully it will connect to the server. I hope it does, and it does. Okay, so let's check the optimization results. So as you can see, we have some good settings here. When I sort this by the highest profit, not profit factor but profit, it's in this case it's the same. Yeah, the highest profit factor also has the highest profit, but let's sort by the highest profit, and we can see that we have some good settings here. So the best one, or if we only look at the profit, the best one is this 1.67 profit factor, drawdown very low, expected payoff very nice. The thing I don't like here is the total number of positions. 116 is just too low for me. So that's why I will go for this one. It has nice profit factor, nice profit, and higher number of positions, which is always a good sign. So let's just run a single test of this. Yeah. And yeah, it's not bad. It's a very simple EA, very simple simple logic, let's say. And this seems like pretty okay. As I said before, USD yen is prone to huge trend movements, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, for USD yen, you are waiting for the market like this when it just goes in one direction, and then you just want to like use high take profits and just go with the market. So this is what you are looking for. Wow. Well, seeing this makes me to think about replacing the take profit and stop loss. Why? We are using right now we are using the area distance of, or the difference between the local high and the local low as our target. Yeah, it works most of the times. You can see that these are like some pretty reasonable take profits and stop losses, but in this case the area right here is just huge, and this is not something we want. So let me try to replace the targets by static targets. So for example, 400 points take profit, 600 points stop loss, and let's just see how it can change the trading performance. So let's do it. So I will delete this, or I will change the name to take profit points and stop loss points. Okay. And by default, we can do something like 350, and this can be like 700. Okay. And now I just have to change this. So for stop loss, it's local high minus stop loss points times point. For sell stop, it's exactly the same thing, but we just add it to the local low. And for take profit, also, let's just change this, and now let's just change this to take profit points right here. Okay, so now it's using take profit and stop loss points. I will perform one more optimization, but now let's do this. So let's start at 200. Here let's start at 300, increase by 100, or let's increase by 75, the same thing here. And I think the highest take profit we should look for is something like 900, and for stop loss we can do 1500. So let's start and let's see what will happen. Now theoretically I think the results will look better. We will have more positions, yeah, as you can see here, because yeah, we won't be holding any positions for significant amount of time. Okay, and yeah, you can see that like the highest or the most profitable option has lower profit factor than in the previous optimization round, but I like this. So let's check it. Yep, this is nice. This is quite nice. We can check, for example, this option. Also very, very nice. So yeah, like this looks solid. In the inputs, we are using higher take profit than stop loss. So this is something quite unusual. Usually we use higher stop loss than take profit, but it seems like for USD yen, it works opposite way. So we can do one more optimization for the last 5 years, okay? Because for 2.5 years or for 3 years, it's very simple to over optimize or to overfit the inputs. So let's just see how this can hold over a longer period of time. Let me just check how long this video is. 50. Okay, so this is the last optimization I am doing here. Okay. Okay, perfect. So the optimization results over the last 5 years look also promising. So this is the most profitable option right here. Like, I can't complain. Yeah, it's a very simple EA, but it looks promising. Let me test this with every tick based on the real ticks. Okay, so for the sake of the optimization to be very, very fast, I'm using 1 minute OHLC, which is not entirely precise. That's why I want to test this also with every tick based on the real ticks, which should give us the realistic results. Also, if you use higher take profits and stop losses, the difference between test performed with 1 minute OHLC and test performed with every tick based on the real ticks will be pretty much the same. Yeah, so that's also why I said before starting the optimization that I wouldn't recommend to use low take profit and stop loss. Reason why, it just doesn't hold up in the live market with every tick based on the real ticks. So yeah, this is it. This is the backtest. It's slightly worse, but it's something like that we probably expected. Anyway, this is it from me. I think it was like a good project to do. I hope it was useful and that you learned something. Anyway, thank you very much for your time, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.